Welcome everybody. In tonight's video, we will be taking a look at a traditional knife that has been around a while, or at least this particular model has, and talk about it a little bit. The model in question is the old-timer 80T Stockman, and this is a pretty cool little knife. This is not the American-made one. This is the China-made one, I believe. Got it from the Tractor Supply Company. Not sponsored, but bought it from them. And been messing around with it today, and I'm liking it. It always looks bigger in the box. The way they've got this box where it's displayed like that, and it just looks bigger in the box than in your hand. Don't know why. But this is the 80T 0524 old timer. 80TW there on the ting stamp. Let you see that a little bit there, if the camera focuses. And Stockman models are pretty interesting. This particular one I like pretty well. It's got good styling on the clip point, spay blade, and sheep's foot blades. You know, some kind of change the styles a little bit, and they don't vibe as well. And in fact, if you'll give me a moment to grab the other one that I have. Alright. I have also the Buck Stockman, which has plenty of similarities, of course, but does look rather different overall. And let's just take a look at the main blade here. Just the difference in how they do it. Like, the old timer just has a nicer blade to it, in my opinion. And then a full flat grind on the old timer compared to the Buck's kind of saber ground, hollow ground, whatever combo edge you want to call that. And this one is just really hitting the vibes for me. And the wood handle is just really grippy. They didn't quite cut out the shield hole too well in this one. There's some gaps in there, but you know, what do you expect for China-made knives from Old Timer anymore? I mean, Old Timer makes good stuff, don't get me wrong, but this one's just kind of neither here nor there. But we've got the stainless steel, which I think it's kind of more carbony than stainlessy. It's like kind of down the middle. Clip point blade, sheep's foot blade, wood or desert ironwood handle, nickel silver bolsters, and a pin blade, which to me I would just call that a spay blade. Not a bay blade, spay blade. Don't get those two confused. I mean, what's the difference there, you know? It's a spay blade. And if you do this, then it is a bay blade. So, have fun with that. I like how the small blade on this particular model curves towards what you're cutting compared to other models. That I kind of like that a little bit. That's kind of neat. Kind of gets in on that. And the pull on this is really good. There's no half stops. There's kind of this dead spot when you're opening the knife that's kind of a half stop, but it's not a true half stop. The plain sheep's foot blade is really good. I've been whittling and messing around on stuff all day long, and I've just been having fun with this knife overall. But I can really get some good little curls going here. This is a bamboo chopstick. We're just making these fine curls here. This is great for making your fuzz sticks for your campfire and whatnot. Just all around really good stuff. You want to sit and make your hamster a full cage of bed shavings? Get a bamboo chopstick and spend a couple days just like that, and just make your hamster a nice comfy bamboo bed. But all blades come out of the box perfectly fine. No mess ups on the geometries at all. Like, it's all ground really even, really sharp, and it just works really smoothly. Hair popping sharp, kind of hair popping sharp is neither here nor there on some knives, so this does pop hair. But just because it doesn't pop hair doesn't mean it's not a sharp working blade. And this is not, I mean, you can make this a delicate knife for everyday tasks, but this is more of a workman's knife. Like, you're just going to go out camping with it, abuse it, work on a ranch with it. That's why, this is kind of called the Stockman's knife. You have the big general blade for general everyday cutting tasks, and a sheep's foot blade for the little bit heavier duty stuff. And we all know what the spade blade was originally for. Bye bye you know what's. But I mean, you could still just use this for small delicate work for anything really. And having 3 blades meant that you could go longer on between sharpening. And you just get 3 different cool blades. You can triple the length of sharpening process, although I hone my knives more than I sharpen them, because honing your knife does more than sharpening with less damage to the blade. But the warmth of the wood handle is really, really nice. I'm loving that. The main clip point blade it just looks so good. And then that long pull here in the middle, that long nail neck, looks really, really nice. They have a bit of a sharpening choil here at the bottom, which is very good because some knives don't do that. They don't give you a sharpening choil, and it just becomes a bugger. And if your knife doesn't have a sharpening choil, you can get yourself this bamboo chopstick, but for visual references, get yourself a very small diamond rat tail file height knife sharpener, and just kind of rest it up right in there and just make a handful of passes until you get a little sharpening choil there. And that usually does the trick on some of my knives. There's some that it doesn't. In the past I've tried, but it doesn't work too well, but it depends on the knife steel and how hard it is. The sheep's foot blade, it's just long enough to be handy. There's some sheep's foot blades on other knives that I've seen that are just smaller, like why even have that at that point? But this is big enough you can actually do something with it. And the spade blade, it's just a small knife that's just really good for getting into stuff and just getting things done. And then the way this is all curled and curved and stuff, like it just sits in your hand super, super comfortably. You can really get a good grip, good twisting, just great all around. So this is the the Schrade Old Timer Stockman knife. It's a great little knife. Overall, I think this is going to be a well-used and well-carried knife in my collection, in my rotation of what I carry and use each day. And this is just going to be, I'm going to do an update video on how it's holding up. But it's doing really, really well so far today. I've put it through some tests. There's no blade play, no blade wiggle in here. Like, I'm not feeling any on the tools here. Like, there's no play at all in this. And the pull is really strong. The detent's really strong. It's not going to close on you by accident unless you're being a dummy. And we've all been dummies before with pocket knives and probably have a few scars on our hands to show for it. But we're usually only dummies once or twice. And then we're no longer dummies. But the wood, the way they've curved it, contoured it for the handle, just really good. It's a 2-layer Stockman instead of a 3-layer Stockman like the Buck Stockman here. We have 3 back springs on this bad boy. Here we have 2. Works out a lot better. The brass liners are really nice. They add a little color and character to the knife. It's really, really good. So I'm going to be carrying this for a little bit and see how it goes. Give you an update video in about a couple weeks to a month, whatever like that. And we'll see what happens. Because I think I'm going to enjoy carrying a Stockman. I've been a modern knife carrier for quite a while. But I'm starting to swing back around into the older traditional style pocket knives. Aside from like Swiss Army knives. Swiss Army knives are kind of their own thing to me. But the one I've been carrying a lot lately is the Mossy Oak Trapper. And I think this is better than the Buck Trapper of the same size, same dimensions. Pretty much just a copycat knife. So this one's a little thicker because it's got resin handles instead of the wood handles. And like, man, this knife is sweet. For $10, can't go too wrong with that. I've been using it a lot. And this is just going to be a traditional month for me. Got a little bit beefier blade with the Stockman here. Get a little bit more real estate, a little bit thicker, beefier. I don't know. Just going to be a good complementary bit, I think. Now, if I do, which, you know, I do have the Buck. And I may carry the Buck because they're both wood here. A little different wood, but, you know, kind of that same general vibe. Very, very similar shtick going on here. But yeah, I've been getting into the traditional knives as of late. And been loving it so far. I'm still going to carry modern knives. I mean, my Lander 1 that I've got goes with me everywhere. Like, I do not leave the house without my Lander 1. But I also carry this. I carry this. I carry my Copper Barlow. Love this thing to death. This thing has been my favorite knife of the year, I think. Just really, really good knife overall. So, been a lot of rambling, maybe not a lot of reviewing. Hope what I did review in this video was useful and informational to you. And I hope it helps you build your EDC to your standards. And until the next time, farewell, carry well, and a bye-bye. Traditional knives, give them a shot. If you've never given them a shot, give them a shot.